This is the Module 5 Voices discussion. Whiteness can often be invisible to those who benefit from it because being white, you are not thinking about your race constantly because white is the norm. It's people who are white are not being challenged racially and they're not being questioned, things like that, in the way that people of color can be. And this invisibility is definitely a form of privilege. White people may not even notice that they're like overrepresented in workplaces or overpraised in workplaces because they will think they got it through hard work, being a good employee. But what white people, including me, don't realize is that systems have kind of been designed to support their progress. And invisibility can happen because whiteness kind of blends into the background. It's very normalized. And whiteness can also operate within institutions because it shapes policies, practices, norms, and these institutions are maintaining the racial hierarchies. For example, in education, curriculum is often centered around a white perspective, while history and people of color have made contributions. Those contributions can be marginalized. There's also in the criminal justice system, there's so many that things will affect Black and brown communities and not white communities and things like this. Also in housing, redlining and zoning laws, those have been created, and those allow racial segregation and promote wealth inequality. Even today, there's loan approvals and property values and things like this, and those can be a disadvantage for people of color. And they're not even necessarily individual acts of racism. They're more embedded into institutions and how institutions operate and things like that. So it would take like a major policy change. Something that can still be a little unclear for me, I think, is that I don't understand or know how we can get to the point of fully dismantling white invisibility, whiteness, all these things, because you think about it and you don't want to center white guilt, and you don't want to make conversations about race revolve around white people's feelings. So it can be difficult to navigate how to have these honest conversations about whiteness, especially in diverse groups, without making people defensive or things like that. It's a very complex subject, kind of like intersectionality, how class, race, gender, and all those things intersect to produce different experiences. So figuring out how to kind of challenge the system while also coming at people in meaningful and productive ways can be a little challenging because you never want anyone to be defensive, but you also kind of want to get to the bottom of it and figure out what we can do to fully dismantle that.